Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Mr. Handy. My name is Azahra Clarista Aurelia with student ID number 230204019. In this occasion, I would like to answer the 7 questions as the requirements of the final test. So I will start from the first question. The first question is what moral relativism is and how it affects my life personally. Moral relativism is the idea that moral judgments are only true or false depending on cultural, historical, or social context. It rejects the belief that there are universal moral truths that apply to all societies. This view has also helped me become more open minded and respectful to different cultural beliefs and practices, and it also helped me develop greater empathy when facing ethical differences. And however, I also understand that this view can make it harder to judge actions that may cause harm, even if accepted in a culture. This makes me think carefully about whether certain values like avoiding harm should apply to everyone. And then I will also explain the phenomenon of religion. The phenomenon of one truth in one religion that might not become truth in another religion. So, in my opinion, different religions have different beliefs about what is true because each religion develops within its own historical, cultural, and theological background. For the example, Hinduism teaches polytheism, with many gods representing different parts of the divine, while Islam, my own religion, teaches strict monotheism, which is believing in only one God, Allah, with no partners. These differences also show that each religion has its own way of understanding God and moral truth, and however, this variety also leads to important questions. Can all religions truth can equally valid, or are there universal values like compassion and justice that go beyond individual religions? And this invites deeper reflection and dialogue about what truth in religion really means. And the third question is why slavery was allowed in the past and now it is forbidden by most countries. Slavery was accepted in the past because many societies depended on forced labor for their economies, and social systems often treated certain groups as less human. And over time, people began to question slavery through moral, religious, and political ideas that supported human equality. Movements to end slavery grew stronger, especially as industrialization reduced the need for slave labor. The adoption of international agreements like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948 helped make slavery illegal in most countries, and today slavery is widely seen as a serious violation of human dignity. Although modern forms like human trafficking still exist. And next, I will explain the phenomenon of why, if we visit Bali, we often see a lot of housing and architecture using Bali style, but if we visit Jakarta, we do not see many Betawi style. So, when we visit Bali, we often see buildings using the Bali style because Bali is well known for its strong Hindu traditions, and many parts of daily life are connected to religion, including its architecture. The design of homes and temples follow religious rules like Trihita Karana and Asta Kosala Kasali. These traditional styles are still used for worship, ceremonies, and community activities. But in contrast, Jakarta is a busy modern city with people from many backgrounds. So, the traditional Betawi culture is often replaced by modern buildings and styles from other regions. That's why Betawi style is harder to find, while in Bali tradition remains an important part of their everyday life and religion. And then Saudi Arabia is liberalizing its entertainment forms, such as reopening cinemas, inviting international artists and DJs. This change is called a social and cultural change phenomenon. For many years, the country had strict rules about entertainment based on religious and cultural beliefs. But now, under a program that is called Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia is trying to modernize and reduce its dependence on oil by growing other industries like tourism and entertainment. Reopening cinemas and inviting international artists and DJs are part of this plan to attract visitors, create jobs, and offer more activities for young people. This change is happening because the government wants to improve the economy and give people more choices in how they live. And the sixth question is, if a democratic country decided to kill democracy and the decision is based on majority voting, is it still a form of democracy? So I will answer, if a democratic country decides to end democracy through majority voting, it creates a serious dilemma. This situation is called the tyranny of the majority. Democracy is not just about voting, it also includes important principles like protecting individual rights, following the law, and having independent institutions such as courts and free elections. If the majority votes to remove these protections, the process may look democratic, but the result is not, I think. In fact, it destroys the system that allowed the vote in the first place. Most democracies have safeguards like requiring more than a simple majority of review by courts to prevent this from happening. And also, history shows that without such limits, majority rule can lead to authoritarianism, as in the fall of Germany's Weimar Republic in 1933. Therefore, true democracy must balance the will of the majority with strong protections for rights and institutions, so it will doesn't destroy itself. And last, I will explain why the number of divorces is rising in Indonesia and the number of marriages is decreasing. So, the rising number of divorces and decreasing number of marriages in Indonesia is caused by many social and economic changes, and today more people, especially women, have access to education and job opportunities, which gives them the independence to live unhappy marriages. Many young adults also choose to delay or avoid marriage due to financial difficulties, fear of a long term commitment, and also a desire to focus on their career. And in addition, social media and modern lifestyles have changed the way people view love and relationship. As a result, more people decide not to marry, and those who do may find it harder to stay together when facing problems. And yeah, I think it's enough from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi